Alright, so in this video I want to show you how to add elements to your image. So you have 3 rough drafts, and now you need to start thinking about which one stands out the most to you, which one you like the best, which one you're going to use for your final draft, and you can just open that file up and use it. Because I had you create it at the size that I would like them to be at, which is 8 by 8 and 120 res. So, which is great. So they're all at the correct size. So they're all ready to go and move forward with. So you can see mine's 8 by 8 and 120. So let's say I wanted to use this one that I created. You want to start thinking about elements. What type of elements are you going to add to it? So you could play off of the font style. Like an element could be like a piece or a part of the font itself. Like mine has this very distinct like end marking here that looks almost like a paintbrush. I could use that as being a added element, and I could add to it. So for instance, I could take like I don't know, let's say I wanted to take this L, right? And I wanted to make it into a shape because I wanted to kind of play around with it. What I'm going to do is highlight my L, go to Layer, Rasterize, Type. And what it does is it makes a shape into what was a type layer, right? So now I can take part of this L, like let's say I wanted to use this as my added element, and I could highlight just that little part. I could copy it and paste it so it's creating a new part to it. Whoops. And use this as my added element. Maybe I'm going to add a few of these into the mix, right? So, you know, maybe I was going to make it a little bit more abstract and just add some cool lines like this, cutting through and into. Maybe I'm going to extend this out more. Let's see if I can do that. No, I'm not going to do it that way. By maybe using my paintbrush on that layer and adding to that way. Although that's not really that neat, right? So what you could also do is like use like your shape tool, right? So you have lots of shapes here that you can use. Like maybe my rectangle. I'm going to create a white shape without an outline on it. And maybe add that here. Maybe I'm going to have this extend off the page or create a line that swoops off the page from here. Maybe I'm going to steal. So right now I'm kind of stealing parts of the letters, like aspects of it, and using them as my added elements and features to add to my piece. Maybe I'm going to use that and like repeat it throughout, or maybe add it someplace else. Like that. So doing stuff like that, these elements are a little bit more abstract that I'm adding to. And I'm playing around with like little aspects of the font that I think are pretty, and I'm adding those elements into my design. Now you could be a little bit more like less abstract and have it be like a little bit more representational and add like fun designs to it, as long as they match and work well with, you know, with your font style. Look at some of your shapes, some of your custom shapes that you have. Maybe you're going to add arrows into the mix. Maybe I'm going to look through and see if there's any, maybe I'm going to add people like walking on a road. Maybe I'm going to turn this into like roads or something. Um, Maybe I'm going to add one of these like decorative elements. Like if, let's say they went along with my design. Let's say I wanted to add this like little flower. I'm going to add floral elements into this. Um, into my design here. And play around with something like that. You know, figure out where I'm going to put these things. Maybe I'm going to add patterns into the background. I don't think something like that goes with my idea, but you know, there are elements that you could add. Maybe I'm going to look at custom shapes again. Now, I wouldn't do all of these things. I'm just throwing a million things in here once. Maybe I'm going to add some sort of pattern. I feel like there's a pattern. Or maybe I'm going to add like lines, right, into my background. I don't think that this goes with my idea, but just kind of showing you as an option. Maybe I'm going to use these patterns in my background, but then also rasterize the shape and erase some of the lines that I don't want. Right, maybe I just want to put it there. All right. So these are just like fun different ways that you can add elements to your piece. I don't mind if you look online, um, but I prefer that you try to make the shapes yourself. You know, whether it be using some of your shapes in your shape tool or find some of the custom shapes that are available, um, or use elements of the font that already exist, kind of play around with stuff like that. Remember, if you create a shape, right, or type, and you want to rasterize it to make it into an object that you can like transform further and erase and so forth, you go to Layer, Rasterize, right? You could rasterize your type or shape, and then that will allow you to erase and transform further. All right, so I hope that this is helpful to you. And if you have any questions, let me know.